I want you to imagine something for a moment. Imagine what would have happened if Christians turned an ancient mosque into a church. Imagine the outrage, imagine the headlines. But when it comes to Christians being persecuted, there are no headlines and the media is silent. There is no outrage. But it's up to you, it's up to us. You can either sit back and watch or take a stand. Erdogan's Turkey has decided to turn Hagia Sophia, one of the most iconic Christian symbols in Turkey and once a holy church, into a mosque. Hagia Sophia was built in 537 AD as a Christian cathedral church. This building has 1500 years of Christian history that Erdogan has decided to erase. Up until now, Hagia Sophia served as a museum and a place of harmony and tolerance where all religions were welcome. The dictator in Turkey, Erdogan, has no respect to history, pluralism, and other faiths. Because it's not like there are not enough mosques in Turkey that he needs this one as well. Turkey is a country where there are mosques in just about every corner. But this is precisely the radical Islamist ideology, to turn anything non-Muslim to Muslim. This is what radicals have been doing in India, occupying Hindu temples and then attempting to claim ownership over them. This is what radicals did in Damascus. They turned churches into mosques and built mosques on the top of churches. This decision should alarm all of us, even if you don't live in Turkey, because Erdogan is planting seeds of extremism and giving a hand to radical Islamists whose goal is to eventually expand to Europe as they are doing today and even more. And by the way, please keep in mind that I'm referring to radical Islamists and not Muslims, because there are a lot of Muslims that oppose radicalism and oppose this decision as well. But here's why it matters. Because in most of the Muslim countries, the Christian community suffers from horrible persecution every day. They are facing discrimination from the authorities, and in Turkey, for example, Christians have no access to state employment. Christianity is the most persecuted faith, and yet you see Western leaders that are working so hard to not offend anyone with their political correctness instead of standing like a lion to hatred and persecution. We live in a world with many weak leaders, including weak Christian leaders, whose top priority is to not offend anyone. This is not how to make a change in this world. So let's not forget the persecuted faiths around the world, because they have no voice. We are their voice. So let's stand up to them.
The video you just watched sounds like a fiction, but it is far from that. These are realities of the moment. Christianity is on a lifeline. Somebody might ask, are we really in a religious war? You can call it anything you like, but it is better seen than imagined. For a very, very long time, Christianity has been scourged by the living because of one ulterior motive or the other. But this time, it is very common to notice all this in all nooks and crannies of our society, where Christians are mocked. Comedians make them feel of celebration. But one thing is certain: if they continue to destroy, to uproot, discredit symbols of Christianity, it might be common to anyone. It might be easy to anyone. But when God says enough is enough, something terrible must happen. You cannot mock God. The scripture says that the foolishness of God is greater than the wiseness of man. It all sounds like a scene from a hero movie. But these are realities of our moment. If you watch closely and understand the narratives these guys are slicing, you will understand that really deadly things and dangerous affairs are going on according to the stories that makes up the headlines daily in our lives. All these ones are tips of iceberg, because when you hear that Christians are killed in many countries and streets around the world, some people thought they're all jokes. But when it happened at the back of your yard, at the back of your house, you will really understand that truly things are happening. For example, in today's world, we have been hearing about genocide. At the moment, as I'm speaking to you, in Nigeria, it is a typical example. In the eastern region of Nigeria is where the eyes of the world are focused, but yet nothing is being done to remedy the situation. In every nook and cranny of this society, human remains are flowing everywhere. Bloods are being washed away in all the nights. Cries are heard every night, and that ends. In Benue State, it is a common thing to notice mass burials every day. In Anambra State, it has been an eyesore. People burying their own loved ones at any hour of the day. In Imo State, where the government have made a theater of war, youths are flushed away for no reason. Their only sin is that they are coming from a particular region. In Ebonyi State, in Enugu State, in Abia State, all these things are common things happening. Life in this part of the region has no meaning anymore. The atrocities are overwhelming. Killing at the middle of night is seen as a tradition. While all these things are happening at the watch of international community, before our own very eyes, no one is ready to procure a solution. Even common journalists are not willing to write the correct things that are happening. Yet, in 21st century, this genocide is going on. The one that happened in 1967-70 is just a thing to imagine than what is happening this present time. No government, no leadership, organization, no society is ready to render a help. When you are talking about all these things, yet it is this very time and from this very particular region that female genital organs are harvested and exported to China. As I'm speaking to you, nobody has been called to book against this atrocity. Thousands of male organs are shipped to China, and today they are all made a delicacy in most of China kitchens. Remember, there is no way you can harvest without taking off a life. Yet, nobody is willing to do or act against this. In every corner of the street, you can see women, young girls, Little children, their corpses littered everywhere. Yet, it is all a story. It is seen today and tomorrow it evaporates. But these are people from loved families. What do you have to say about this? Yet, we are in a world where a lot of organizations that takes care of humanity exist. And tomorrow, if drastic actions are taken, if common men went in the street to defend themselves, then you will see headlines flying from all parts of the world. Heads of governments will be making comments. But at this time, the masses are suffering. This time, the people are feeling the pains, hunger, destruction, action. Nobody is willing to say anything. Nobody is willing to put up a solution where peace and life will be at a better corner. How do we defend ourselves? How do we live if we allow all these atrocities to keep going on? Remember, life matters. Blood flowing from every corner of the street is an eyesore. It's a taboo. It's injustice. It's very, very unacceptable. Heaven and earth rejects it. Therefore, we must make a move to find a solution to all these things. God is watching. Whether you take it easy or not, whether you do good or bad, at the end of the time, judgment is coming upon you. Thank you for watching. Have a pleasant day. See you on top.